In this video, we will explain the basics of shuffleboard for beginners. For new players, shuffleboard can seem confusing, but most people learn very quickly. The equipment. Shuffleboard requires a court, a cue, and discs. Oh, and closed-toed shoes for safety. We have plenty of cues and discs to borrow, but most players eventually buy their own cue. On the cue, you have a head which has flexible runners. On the other end, there is a rubber tip used to help with your grip and move the discs around the court after a round. Discs consist of 4 yellow and 4 black. You may notice painted colored dots on each disc. 1, 2, 3, and 4. These help distinguish one set of discs from another when you are playing with multiple groups, and are used by more advanced players to distinguish slight variations among discs in terms of speed and control. At Clearwater and many other clubs, glass beads are applied to the court before play to make the discs slide smoothly, making the game both more fun and more challenging. Some places do not use beads, creating a different challenge. In leagues, tournaments, and organized play, an experienced member will pre-bead the courts that will be used. For new members playing with friends and family, you will be taught how to properly bead and clean courts. Finally, the court. These lines are called dead lines because any shot that does not make it to this line is dead and must be removed. Here, you have a triangle on top of a trapezoid. The trapezoid area is called the ten-off, or the kitchen. These lines designate the areas where each player's discs are sorted and played from, but are not considered part of play otherwise. Some courts mark the scoring areas with numbers, while others are blank, like these at Clearwater. Regardless, the top smaller area is the 10, the 2 smaller areas are the 8s, and the 2 larger areas are the 7s.
The kitchen is worth -10.
There are 2 ends of the court. The head of the court is where the scoreboard is located. The foot is the other end. Most courts also have a yellow and black marking to designate the colors. Notice that each color runs the entire side of the court, so the yellow player at the head will be to the right of their opponent. The yellow player at the foot will be to the left of their opponent. The rules.
The rules of shuffleboard are simple and can be learned after just a few rounds. Shuffleboard can be played either as singles with 2 players or doubles with 4 players. In doubles, your partner will be the same color as you, so you will have a yellow team and a black team, and your partner will be directly across the court from you with your opponent standing next to you. Whether in singles or doubles, you remain the same color until all rounds of a game are completed. At the start of play, the yellow and black player alternate shots until all 8 discs have been played. This is called a frame, and only after all 8 discs are shot is the score tallied for that frame.
When a player shoots a disc, it is in play, as long as it touches at least the dead line, stays on the court and not in the gutter, and is at least touching the back line of the kitchen. Otherwise, it can be removed. For a disc to be good, it has to be 100% in the scoring area, either in the 10, the 8s, the 7s, or the kitchen. If a disc is ever so slightly touching the line when looking directly down on it, then it is no good. Each shot can only be worth 10, 8, 7, or a -10. The score is calculated only after the last of the 8 discs are shot. So, if you land in the 10, it only counts as 10 points if it remains there after all the other discs are shot. A big part of the game is knocking your opponents out of the scoring area, preventing your opponent from knocking you out, or setting up a disc to hide behind with future shots. A shot used to block a scoring disc is called a block. Given the central role that the Tampa Bay area has played in the history of shuffleboard, the 2 most well-known blocks, wherever you are in the world, are the Tampa and the St. Pete. Let's do some scoring examples.
In this example, we have 2 yellows in the 7 area, 1 black in the 8, and 1 black in the kitchen. This round, the score is 14 yellow, -2 black. In this round, we can see there is a black in the 8 and the 10, a yellow in the kitchen, but it's not obvious if the other yellow is in. So we look straight down on the disc and see that it's in. So the score of this round is yellow -3, black 18.
The player or team with the highest score at the end of the game wins. Games always begin at the head of the court, and yellow always goes first in the first frame. If playing doubles, the yellow player at the foot of the court will go first next, and this completes a round, round 1. In round 2, black shoots first from the head of the court, then black shoots first from the foot of the court, and so on. If playing singles, the colors alternate each frame, whether you are playing walking singles, where both players walk from one end of the court to the other after each frame, or non-walking singles, where both players stay on the same side the entire game. Either way, yellow goes first in a frame, and black goes first the next frame, and so on. Scores are tallied as the game progresses. So if the yellow team got an 8 in the first frame, and their partner got a 15 in the second frame, then they have a total score of 23 for that round. That score is then added to the score for the next round, and this continues until the end of the game. Traditionally, the winner is the player, or team in doubles, that reaches a score of 75 first. However, this can take a really long time, hours in some cases, or a really short time, a few minutes in some cases. So most tournaments, leagues, and casual play have a set number of rounds, usually at least 6, and sometimes as high as 16. If playing casually, just decide amongst yourselves before play starts. However, the number of rounds should always be an even number, 6, 8, 10, etc., because the player that goes last in each frame has the advantage of the final shot, known as the hammer.
If playing doubles, the players that are not currently shooting are required to sit on the bench with sticks in an upright position unless they are performing one of their designated tasks. For example, the players can get up to see if the disc is 100% in a scoring zone or not. The sitting players also can give hand signals to let the shooting players know if a particular disc is good or no good, as it can be difficult to see from the other side of the court. Often they hold up fingers to tell the shooters how many discs are in. This hand maneuver tells them that a particular shot is no good. This would designate that a disc is in the kitchen. Shooting rules. There are many different variations when it comes to shooting or throwing a disc. As far as rules, no part of your feet or body can touch the line at the back of the kitchen or anywhere on the court. During the shot, the disc also has to move in a linear direction only, and has to be either a consistent speed or an accelerating speed. It is generally recommended that you softly grip the end of the cue, usually with your pinky resting lightly behind the rubber end. Most players use either a one-step or two-step method. In a one-step method, you line up your shot and step with the foot opposite your throwing hand. With a two-step shot, you step first with your dominant foot and then your opposite foot. This would be similar to how you would throw a bowling ball. It is best practice to have your cue head touching your disc at the start of your shot, as this increases accuracy. Most advanced players move the disc at a consistent speed, and the disc naturally releases from the cue as your arm stops. After your shot, the player then moves their cue to an upright position for safety and gets out of the way of their opponent's shot. Some common beginner mistakes that often decrease accuracy are gripping the cue firmly or away from the rubber tip, starting a shot with the cue head inches behind the disc, having a short, quick shot versus a long, smooth one, and having a quick, jerky movement at the very end of the shot. Practice shots. Before each game, especially in a tournament or league, it is customary for players to perform practice shots. These shots are used to help determine the two main variables in each court, speed and drift. Some courts are faster than others, and speed can be especially influenced by the concentration of glass beads on the court. The drift is the change in direction that the disc takes as it moves down the court due to imperfections in the court, as concrete courts are never perfectly smooth. Clearwater is known for having a lot of drift in the courts, which makes the games more fun and challenging. The more advanced you become, the better you are at reading a court and adjusting your shot accordingly. Before a tournament or league, Players are informed the number of practice shots, typically 2 shots for speed and 4 for drift. So, the yellow head player will shoot 2 discs in a row, and the black head player, the players of the foot, will do the same. Next, the yellow player at the head of the court will shoot all 4 discs, and the black player, and so on. So this concludes our basic shuffleboard video. Shuffleboard is a social, friendly sport, and almost every experienced player will be glad to answer any further questions you have. Enjoy!